Okay, so we're going to pull up quite an interesting debate, heated debate between Anton Daniels, who's basically a well-known multi-millionaire investor, entrepreneur, social media individual, and also a gentleman called Corey Holcomb. Basically, he is like a radio host, personality, and also comedian. So let's break down some areas here. Let's go for it.
Do you think that's wrong? What I said?
This is so insane.
Is that what I said? I said when the
so
cops
insane.
shoot you, ain't nothing you can do about it. Is that a lie?
This is so insane.
But you didn't answer it. Like,
I'm gonna answer your question.
okay.
I'm gonna answer your question. It depends on the circumstance. And the interesting thing about it is this: the majority of the people, because you like to use a blanket statement. That's like me saying all black people are stupid.
Well, have you said all white people stupid?
No, I'm talking about cops.
You should say that one time
I'm talking about
because
cops.
it's easy to say all black people are stupid as an example. Say something about the white people.
No. You're not. I
don't think you
white
got
people all the time.
Well, I didn't hear you. Can you tell me?
I
Because
talk
don't
about
know.
liberal
I hear
white
you
women
talking about
literally being the biggest enemy of the United States of America. That's the thing I say every single day.
Caucasian female, the biggest enemy.
Literally, white liberal women are the worst thing that ever happened to this country.
What about their men?
But we gonna get there because you keep trying to get me to qualify it by participating and joining in on the core.
No, I think you're doing what's easy.
No. I'm doing what's real.
I think you don't want to go against them because if you go against them,
So as we do on this channel, we like to pull up data, right? Because this is how I've essentially made money in the financial markets, building businesses, making money. Everything's about data, irrespective of what the topics are. There's always areas that you can lean onto it. Yes. So if we pull up some data, pull up some metrics, Anton Daniel was basically just stating, no, he talks about a broad case of topics. Corey just says, no, you tend to focus on the black culture, you demonize the culture, you bring them down. Anton's basically pushing back and saying, no, that's not true. He also speaks about Caucasian women, so, doubling down on feminism. So we can pull up some data here and just see what's actually going on here. So based on this data, we've extracted information utilizing large language model, AI, to basically look at the topics that Anton basically talks. He has a various channels. He has like a money, let's say a business money show channel. He has also topics about culture, about social. But what it says here is social commentary and current events. So many of Anton's videos involve reaction style commentary on societal events, cultural moments, and what people are saying about them. Yes. Example of video topics, titles reflect this trend. So remember, these are examples of the topics and these titles reflect the trend, right? And what basically it says here, it trends towards HBCU, so historical black colleges, right, are racists, need something. Black men says Chicago is in crisis, right? So category themes here are race and identity discussions, urban community issues, public discourse reaction. So this is a summary, right? It's not saying that he primarily 100% of the time focuses on these topics, right? But clearly he's doubling down and focuses heavily on the black culture. And then a small percentage of his topics are related to Caucasians, are related to feminism, but really, and this is clear, we can pull up the numbers afterwards, irrespective, nothing negative. I like what Anton does from a money perspective, right? Because we're a money channel. But if you want to be very honest, based on stats, take emotions out of it, this is clearly what his focus is on. And this is how he's generating a lot of his views.
Be some video of you going against them. And when I say them, I'm talking about your boss.
I don't have a boss.
We say that. We say that, but here's the truth.
I don't have a boss.
It's a reason you go after black males or black people quicker than you will go after white males. What are white males responsible for in this country as the downfall
I'm
of
an equal accountability smoke giver. I talk about everybody.
I'm just saying, I ain't heard you talk about white men since you've been up here.
You ain't been listening. You ain't been listening.
I've been listening to you.
No, you haven't.
I hear you
You
taking
don't have the capacity to be able to listen because you're too busy.
No. You got me wrong.
You're too busy.
It also seems as well, taking consideration, obviously, it also seems that when you talk about various topics that's happening within social society issues and topics, if you talk about those topics but you don't provide some form of resolution, right, or ways to be able to overcome these issues or certain proposals in terms of legislation, then it's just a point of just talking about it just to raise this awareness. But then you're focused on the negative aspect, and it tends to then drive more views, right? More optics in terms of generating more interest. But what is it actually achieving, right? So one needs to understand. Again, I'm just thinking about money. I'm thinking about business. I'm thinking about how. But then, if your aim is to be able to then bring up your community, then you also need to find ways. It's okay to talk about these topics, but you should end these topics with, this is how this should be done to be able to resolve these issues. These are the ways that the inner city could be able to help to build out the foundation. These are the investment strategies that can improve literacy, financial literacy rates within the urban culture and neighborhoods to be able to drive interest. These are the certain tools, coding tools, AI tools that one can use, that you're not reliant on working for any individual 9-to-5 job. You can start learning from home. You can start building your knowledge. You can utilize arbitrage to then start growing. These are the conversations we need to have that can propel us.
My capacity that you just criticized, that's an opinion. Here's the fact. Have you seen something about Caucasian males and how they destroy this nation? Well, what did I miss?
Let's slow down, because you talking loud, but you're not saying a lot.
No, you talking loud, and you still talking around. What did the Caucasian male do to America to bring it down?
I'm not getting into that.
You dancing around it, and that's why I lose respect for you.
I think this is the issue. Corey has pushed back on him, clearly said, okay, you speak about what's happening here in terms of black culture, but whenever you raise anything about Caucasians, I brought in the stats, I showed you based on these topics, and Anton just said, I am not going to get into that, right? This, in terms of having a conversation, you should have said, well, if you pull up my YouTube, you can be able to see these topics, or if you pull up these stats, this will show here. But when you say, I'm not going to get into it, clearly shows that you don't want to continue debating this specific topic. So these raises questions to those that are let's say, skeptics that are looking at what you're doing and saying, oh, you don't want to get into it because what Corey's saying is actually true, right? So these are things that Anton needs to push back on, and even maybe after this, come out and actually pull up a video and just say, listen, these are the stats. These are the conversations I have that focuses on this area, focuses on this race. So I'm impartial, right? And how I'm helping the inner city people from my area. He said he's from Detroit, my area, to be able to scale, right? And I think these are the quite valid comments that Corey's making here. But Anton isn't really doubling down and pushing back and giving him stats to show or giving information to show, no, you're absolutely wrong here.
When you start dancing and kissing Caucasian males' ass.
But I don't.
Don't do that in front of me, because I'm not an ass kisser of nobody.
Yes, you are. You suck the black people right now. You doing the easy shit. What you do, let me tell you what you do.
No, let me tell you something, homie. I don't suck.
Yeah, you do.
So fix
you doing
that.
it right now.
I don't suck.
You doing it right now.
Homie, believe me when I tell you, I don't do.
See, another thing here is that what I don't like is if someone's going to critique a certain issue, right, and going to push back, what you shouldn't do is double down and just say, oh, and you use profanity or hit someone with emotion. When you come and bring an emotion into conversations, into debates, then it's over. Critical discussions or first level thinking, critical thinking skills go out the window when you bring emotions and you then start using profanity to put someone else down. This is not how you win debates, right? And we are all adults, business individuals. So this is something that both of them have to learn, right? Yes, if you want to be able to win a debate, you don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to then start doubling down and then talking about this and talking about this. Nobody's winning here. But what's happening, yes, it's going to drive views, but at the end of the day, it's going to bring down the respect that your audience will have about you.
I don't do that.
Listen.
So don't come at me with no sucking shit.
I'm gonna give you the same energy you give me.
Let's switch seats. Homie, I don't do no sucking shit. I'm a man. I don't do no sucking shit.
I don't give a fuck about nothing.
Well, I tell you what, watch that sucking shit, cause that'll go bad.
Call it what you want.
I don't do no sucking.
You say a lot of shit that I don't fuck with either. You
Okay, but that gay shit, you go. Hey, homie, I tell you what.
See, this is when the tensions rise, the worst thing that Corey should have done is actually then stood up to confront him. Why? Why should one person's view about you then give you rise to be able to stand up and confront, to want to then start to potentially have a physical engagement, right? Doesn't make sense. Why can't we calmly have these conversations, talk about things, hash these disputes out before moving to this level? And these are the things that both of them need to look at. They're both in their late 30s, 40s, and they're confronting each other, can't have debates. Guys, for the community, you guys need to overcome these things as mature adults. People are looking up to you. This is not good.
Don't put no sucking shit on me, nigga.
I'm from Detroit.
Say I suck it again.
I'm right here, right now.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna respect you.
Doesn't matter whether you're from Detroit, doesn't matter whether you're from South Korea, doesn't matter whether you're from Bolton in the UK. Who cares? Nobody cares, right? So it shouldn't be because you're from such an impoverished area that I'm gonna then use I'm tough, I grew up in a hard knocks life, that you shouldn't come up to me. Nobody cares about this anymore. What people should care about is, number one, how to be able to put food on the table for your family, how to be able to pay your bills, how to be able to build something for yourself that you become successful from, how to then invigorate, how to be able to change the outlook of your environment in terms of your community, how to help your family and friends. Nobody cares about confronting each other, coming together and wanting to start a fight. These are two well-known individuals in the community, multi-millionaire entrepreneur, a radio host, comedian. And this is how you're bringing yourself down. Guys, we need to rise up and change this.
Dance around it.
No.
I don't do no fucking shit.
I'm gonna respect you because it's your platform, and I flew out here to have a conversation.
We good.
But
We
you're
good.
not busting up on me.
We good. I did already. I don't need
Put
fucking
the
shit.
microphone right down. Right now, I'm going up back. I don't give a fuck about this shit.
You
See, this is again, go put the microphone down and go to the back and do what? Have a fight, and then all of a sudden the police is called, both of you are arrested, and then all of a sudden you got criminal convictions? Based on what? Based on emotions? Based on not channeling your aggression, right? So what I'm trying to say, this is a money channel, but then decisions that you make from a money aspect also is interconnected with the emotional decisions that you make, right? Because now you making this decision, then it then moves to physical violence. Then you both have criminal get arrested. This then brings down your channel. You can be obviously demonetized, right? So the money that you're generating, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of years that you're making, you've lost that in a second based on emotions. So this is connected to, goes back to finance, goes back to emotions, go back to making the right decision. So this is not a good situation here.
just running your mouth.
I'm not running my mouth.
You running your mouth. I don't do
You
no
doing it for the internet. You doing it for the internet. Now, if you want to say your time, no, hold on. If you want
I'll
to say
show
Anton,
you I ain't doing it for the internet.
if you want to say Anton, listen, don't
I'm gonna let
disrespect
you
me like
finish.
that. If you want to say Anton, don't disrespect me like that, I'll respect you. But don't boss up on me because you said a lot of shit to me today that I don't either. But I let that shit ride because you don't know me.
Another issue was really important is decisions that people make generally is also about clout. It's also about the views of what people how people would react. Yeah, we're in such a social geared environment of live streams where it's actually not the influencer that's controlling that dynamics now. It's actually the followers, it's the audience, right? And I think this is the flip that we're seeing. These are decisions that these individuals that are also making, that they want to show that they're both tough because of the audience, because of the viewers, because that people will believe that they're weak, that they're inferior, that they're seen not as the alpha male. So really, you are making decisions based on what the perception of your viewers and your audience. And if that's the case, you've lost. It's a non-starter. So let's just see how this finishes off.
So I'm going to extend the same respect to you. You called me out of my name. You said some wild shit, especially with regard to how would it call this nigga out his name? Nigga, I'm telling you that you did. You can't tell me how I get to be affected.
I got a question for bro.
Okay.
No. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. We just getting.
So this is another thing. They have you basically have a constitutional amendment of power of free speech. So if someone's going to say something to you, you don't need to retaliate and respond and then get it to physical, right? Just deal with it, be the bigger person, bigger individual, and then say, okay, take it on your cheek. If you want to be condescending, if you want to gaslight, you want to bring it down to level, then there's no point having this interaction. That's my views. If you like this type of information, things as the cap off, just keep your emotions to the side, because that's always going to have an impact. Basically, the summary is keep your emotions to the side, because no matter what, where you see, that's going to have a direct impact in terms of the money that you're going to make, your financial success. You could be even making millions upon millions today, but one bad decision could tell all of the things that you've built over the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Okay? So if you like this information, please like, subscribe, and follow. Coming back to you another one. Bye-bye.